Yes, welcome along to episode 16 of Upping the Ante in association with Bet365 with David Jennings and Gavin Lynch, counting down to the 2022 Cheltenham Festival. And as you can see, myself and Gavin have both got our Cheltenham haircuts.
Yeah, 3 weeks to go.
Prepared for the big day. But I actually said to Gavin that I'm thinking of getting mine done again before Cheltenham.
Are you mad?
You don't like your haircuts?
No, I hate it. It's the greatest waste of an hour or whatever. Park a car, go in and sit and wait. Half an hour again, I hate it.
It's relaxing though, isn't it?
No.
How are you?
Can't even study form or anything.
No.
I'm good. Good weekend. Pity, some of the racing was off, maybe on Sunday and that. But Sunday was cheered up by Nina Carberry. Good old Nina.
You're a big Nina fan.
Sure, she's brilliant. She seems a lovely person. And she's the first contestant so far, Dancing with the Stars, isn't that what it's called? She got 3 10s. She done a Viennese waltz and she was brilliant. So, first person to get 3 10s.
You're
well
like
done, Nina.
Bruno Tonglioni. What's his name? The judge, Bruno. Yeah. And a big day for us at Naas on Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday we're going to be there. When you come into Naas Racecourse, there's a marquee on the right. I was down there with Eamon, who's a lovely fella, last week. And the marquee on the right, and he's given us a section in there. So come in and say hello. And if you have any questions, sure
you'll answer them.
We'll try.
Truthfully as we can. All things Cheltenham.
Yeah.
And good card at Naas on Sunday as well.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, there's some good races. The good winners bumper. There's a chase and a novice hurdle. Yeah, okay. So it's a good card.
And listen to this, Upping the Ante viewers. Shh, whisper quietly. But Gavin Lynch has a 50-1 tip for the Cheltenham Festival. 50-1, am I right?
Yeah, worth a little nibble.
50-1 tip for the Cheltenham Festival. You're going to have to stay tuned to find out what it is. So we'll kick off with our questions from the crowd. And the first question this week comes in from Brian Galt. And Brian says, how good is Tihupu, Gavin? He says, if Honeysuckle had ran in the Redmills hurdle at Gorham Park on Saturday, would she have been any more impressive than he was? He was brilliant. Yeah, he's very, very good. I think he's 8-1 now for the champion hurdles, which seems, I suppose, about right. The problem you have is that we'll start with Honeysuckle and come back to Tihupu in a minute. So she's 165 at the minute, plus £7 that she gets. So her rating against the boys is 172. Yes.
Yeah. Now, she probably wasn't quite as impressive as we all hoped the last day. In the last 100 yards, she probably got a bit tired. Henry's horse are a bit in and out, so that might give the others hope. The only thing I'd say is that nobody has crossed the 160 barrier yet in any of the other competitors in the champion hurdle, right? Yeah. So Epiton is 153 plus 7, so she's a 160. Appreciated had a rating last year of 160. We haven't seen him since. Yes. But obviously he has the potential to go much higher than that, but we haven't proof of it yet. Tihupu was 149 and got £11 for Saturday, so he's a 160. But one thing to note as well is that the Racing Post rating have given him 165, which is very interesting. So he's won 6 out of 7 hurdle races. He's open to a lot of improvement. Another interesting thing is that his best form was all in deep ground. He got beat last Easter by Jeff Kidder, and that was quite good to yielding ground. But what's interesting is Robbie Power said on Saturday that he hated the ground, so is he the one that's going to get, even if she drops a little bit because Henry's are a bit in and out, the others will have to get 165, 170 to challenge her. So maybe, is he the one? Well,
Robbie Power did make a good point. I spoke to him on Sunday after the race, and he said he's the unknown factor. I know you could say appreciated potentially is as well, but with Tihupu, we have no real idea how good he is. Like, do you know what I mean? He's so unexposed. He's just going out and doing his thing. He's getting better. He could be anything, couldn't he?
He could. Quilixios ran a terrible race, but it did beat Durasso by 11 lengths, and Durasso had a rating. He's quite a consistent horse.
155, yeah.
155. So to beat a 155 horse by 11 lengths.
So, put you on the spot. Where does Tihupu finish in the champion hurdle?
I would say he'll finish maybe 3rd, yeah.
I'm going to give him 2nd.
Are you?
Going to give him 2nd.
But he's got definitely a good each way chance, yeah.
Yeah, so appreciate it first. Tihupu, no, I'm only joking. Honeysuckle wins the champion hurdle, doesn't she?
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's our thoughts on Tihupu. Our second question this week comes in from Jake Sheldon. And Jake wants to know, Gavin, what's the one horse that we are contemplating tipping up on the show, but didn't and regret it now?
I'll give you 2 because it's always 2. It's never 1. But I had a very, very cunning plan for Allaho, who I really fancied for the Ryanair. It's because he was the most impressive horse for the whole week last year. His time was brilliant. So normally Allaho gets beat early on in the season. So I had a very cunning plan. Let him run in the John Dirk Memorial, get beat, and then tip him up at 5 or 6 to 1 or whatever, because people think he's not as good.
What was he before the John Durkan?
7 to 2, I think.
Okay.
And then, of course, Asterion Farange fell, which didn't help. So after that, then he was 7 to 4 and 2 to 1 and stuff, and now he's kind of a dot of odds on. So that's a pity, but that was my cunning plan gone astray.
So you were sick when he won that day?
Yeah, I was actually hoping he got beat, yeah.
Okay. And the other one?
And the other one is Brandy Love for the Mayor's Novice. She was running on a Thursday. We do Upping the Ante on a Tuesday. We just happened to see the entries for Thursday, and I think I mentioned in that episode, Brandy Love at 25-1 is probably worth something.
25?
Yeah, and I just didn't tip her up. But anyway, so she was brilliant that day. Obviously, she was going right-handed, didn't suit her, but she's definitely near the top of the mark if the mare's novice hurdling correctly. So
yeah,
those two. And you?
Brandy Love, mine would be Frontal Assault for the Kim Muir. Yeah.
Really?
So tempted to tip him up a couple of weeks, and then, especially after the run in Fairy House, 12-1, I was going, well, I tip him up at 12s. Now he's like 11-2.
Yeah. We'll see if he gets in. He's got a rating, I think, of 139. The Kim Muir's a not 145. I've had a few quid in him, and sure, hopefully he gets in.
Yeah. So Frontal Assault to be mine. But sure, Gavin, I hope he wins for you, because that's the nice guy that I am.
Good man, Dave.
Frontal Assault is the one that got away on me. And the final question this week comes in from Tom Johnson, and it's a corker, Gavin.
Okay.
If we could restructure the Cheltenham Festival, take away 2 races, and bring 2 races in
what would they be?
To make it better, what would they be?
Well, the good thing is that in a year or two, we won't have to take 2 out, because they'll be bringing in 2 more to make it 5 days.
No, they won't, Gavin. They won't. I wrote an article saying it should be 5 days, and then I had a word with myself and realised it's ridiculous. No, can't be done.
Money's money, and it'll happen.
No.
The 2, I would definitely take out, for this question, I would take out 1 race and put a race in. Very easy, very straightforward. Take out the Pertemps and put in a 3-mile handicap hurdle. And you could make it like a not 155, or like the county hurdle and the Coral Cup don't have a top end if you wanted. And then Sporting John could, well, he's obviously qualified for the Pertemps, but a horse like him could have a choice of which race to go for. So I would definitely take out the Pertemps. It's a bit of a joke with the top 6 qualifying. That should happen anyway.
Yes.
And then I wouldn't, you're going to pressurise me, keep at me to take out a second race because of the question, but I wouldn't take any other race out. But just to annoy you, I would put back in the novice handicap over 2.5 mile, the chase, novice handicap chase, and I'd take out the cross country, even though I wouldn't, but just you're going to keep at me, so.
It's like you're preempting everything I'm going to do here.
Weren't you though? If I didn't say take out a second race,
Gavin, I've changed. I've changed.
Since last week?
I would have let you away with it, so I would. No, I wouldn't. Well, obviously the Pertemps fine is. Now I have to say there was a letter written into the Racing Post on Sunday. If you read it from, I think the managing director of Pertemps, and he was like telling us how brilliant the race is, and really good horses have come out of the race. Yeah. It's just the qualifying process that I have the problem with.
Yeah, no,
that's it, and it's a fantastic sponsorship, and we are all on for sponsorship and it's gone on for so long. And fair play to Pertemps.
And it's actually great because instead of the sponsor's name changing all the time, that
it's fantastic. Yes,
know it as the
and
Pertemps,
it's just I just don't like the whole qualification process.
But there should be a 3 mile handicap hurdle at Cheltenham. Definitely.
Absolutely. And the other race I would take out is the Mare's Chase, because there's not enough good enough mares in training. Look at the entries, Gavin. No. There's going to be about 5 runners this year.
Doesn't matter. That'll eventually happen. When the Mares Novice Hurdle started, there's been 6 Mares Novice Hurdles. Yeah. After a year or two, everybody was saying the same thing. Shouldn't be there. And now look at it. This year looks like having a brilliant race and a brilliant field. So I think that in a few years' time, give it 5 years, I think the fields will get better and better.
But Colreevy last year tipped up by me and Upping the Ante.
Very good.
Colreevy won the race last year, okay?
From Ellie May.
Yeah, unlucky. I think she'll win it this year, though. Colreevy won it last year. Would she not have been better run against Monkfish in the RSA or the Brown Advisory?
Look, you can have this argument like the Quevega argument years ago. If there's a 1,000 guineas and an Oaks and all that stuff in the flat, there should be for the national hunt. So I like the Mare's Chase, and I think in 5 years' time it'll develop into a good race.
Okay.
Give it a chance.
To your guns, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, the Mare's Chase would have been one. I agree with you, the 3 mile handicap hurdle. And the one thing I would bring in, this will be ridicule. I still think there is.
Don't say the Ryanair hurdle.
Yeah, there's a niche, but I think there is. I think 2.5 miles. I think over the years there have been so many specialist 2.5 milers. Yeah. I think there is a case to be made.
Yeah, but there you are saying that you should have.
I know.
Ellie May should be running against Monkfish.
Yeah, I'm doubting myself. Maybe I'm wrong.
You're taking horses out of the stairs or out of the champion hurdle.
I know.
Anyway.
I know. Yeah, maybe you're right. It's not a very convincing argument, but there you go. They are the 2 races kind of that we would kind of take out, and 2 we'd kind of bring back in. But it's good as it is, Gavin, isn't it?
Yeah, sure. 4 days is brilliant. Yeah, it's only 3 weeks to go. So
only 3 weeks to go. I hope that kind of answers your question, Tom. It's the week that was time here on Upping the Ante, where Gavin Lynch gets to talk you through all the horses that have impressed him in the last 7 days. And it's going to be very short next week, I'd say. It's going to be okay this week.
Yeah, not too bad this week, yeah. It's actually a few things at the end of this I want to talk to you about.
That's all right.
I said a spare half an hour because the week that was a bit shorter this week. So I went in and looked at some of the ratings, which I hadn't seen before for 4-year-olds and stuff. So
God, you're good.
Oh, no.
Take it away. Where are we starting off?
A nerd. Starting in Clonmel on Thursday. A horse called Chantruse. 6-year-old Beat Ivan by 5 lengths.
Yeah.
Like Ivan is now gone up to a rating 125. It's nothing special. Ivan has been beaten a few times over the winter.
Good. But it's a good form boost for Manila Crooner though.
It is.
He made mincemeat of him.
Yeah, 14 to 1 NRMB for the Albert Bartlett, 16's Ante Post, whichever you want. As we said before, bet 365, you have a choice of the 2 bets. Unfortunately, we lost Mr. Fred Rogers before the second last, and that's very, very sad for Connections.
Shame,
yeah. It was going to be a nice horse.
Get involved, and
just
goes to show you what a game it is.
It is. Chantrou's now 2 out of 3 over hurdles, jumped a bit like a chaser. Maybe has a small chance in the Bartlett. Wouldn't really be for me, but just remember that Allaho beat Manila Indo in this race in 2019, and Manila Indo won the Albert Bartlett a month later. At what price?
50 to 1.
50 to 1. So second was Commander Fleet and Allaho was third, but imagine Manila Indo won at 50 to 1.
50 to 1, wow.
On to Sandown on Thursday, a horse called Love Envoy or Love Envoy, whichever you wish.
Unbeaten.
So won this grade 2 over 2.5 miles. Beat Speech Bubble, giving her £3 by 2.25 lengths. Took it up at halfway, made a terrible mistake 2 out, but won easy in the end. Well, easy-ish. Up the Sandown Hill. So as you say, 4 out of 4 over hurdles. The mare's novice hurdle is over 2 miles 1. That's probably a little bit too short for her. Harry Fry was saying she might go to Cheltenham, or they even mentioned the Fairy House race, the grade 1. And she's 10 to 1 Ante Post for the mare's novice hurdle. And just to mention, she was 8 seconds quicker than the handicap hurdle won by a horse rated 101. So decent time.
Yep.
On to Ascot on Saturday, where the ground was soft, heavy in places. The first horse we'll start with is your horse. You own a lot of horses.
Who's mine?
Does he know?
Yeah.
7-year-old has gone up from 147 to 152.
That was very lenient.
Yeah, 5 was very lenient. I suppose the handicapper, in fairness, well, it always appears to me that the handicapper in Britain is more lenient in Ireland. If you did that in Ireland, you'd get £10, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well now it's changed, but I don't think it was 2 or 3 years ago. I think it's changed a little bit now.
Maybe so. That is it because
they're not
Cheltenham?
Getting as big of penalties. I think. Yeah.
So Kim Bailey was in Sri Lanka watching his young lad, I think, playing cricket, so he wasn't there to give a quote afterwards. Beat Diane Breed by 14 lengths in the grade 2. This was the Reynolds Chase over 3 miles. That's 3 out of 4 over fences, and had a second to 300 through 5, which is
Kim watches the show.
All right,
Kim watches the show. So Kim, if you're watching. Ultima. Look, Statler and Run Wild Fred, the National Hunt Chase between them, okay? So just go to the Ultima. You went there with Vindication. You almost won it. This is a good horse. I know you're worried about his mentality on the big day with a big crowd. Don't be. He'll be fine. I'll have a word with him. I'll go down to the start. I'll help you bring him down to the start. Does he know? Has to go for the Ultima, Gavin.
Yeah, there's a couple of horses, including Does He Know.
I tipped him up at 14 to 1.
I know you did. No, it was a good tip. I'm not saying that. But I would just have a little worry that some of the horse that ran at the weekend, it's too close to Cheltenham to have ran on such deep ground.
3.5 weeks.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit too close for me. In terms of me...
24 days.
Will I go on back, Does He Know, after that? I think just too hard to race, too close. Willie Mullins doesn't really do it, and I think he'd be right. But...
You're wrecking me buzz here.
For the Ultima, 8 to 1 Ante Post now for the Ultima, and also 16 to 1 Ante Post for the National Hunt Chase.
Yeah, he's not going National Hunt Chase, going Ultima.
Okay. Made a couple of mistakes, but overall still jumped quite well. You know what's very interesting is an Ascot, and happened to him, when they go by the stands, there's kind of 2 back straights in Ascot. You know the first one?
Yeah.
Right? I don't know what to call them. There's the first back straight, and then there's the one before
the one down to Swinley Bottom, yeah.
So the one down to Swinley Bottom, he jumps out to his left at every fence. And when he comes up the side, he jumped perfectly straight.
I know, yeah.
It seems like those fences down the... A lot of horses
angle, maybe?
I don't know, yeah. A lot of them jumped to the left of that. He was 3 seconds quicker than the handicap Chase, so a good time.
Yeah, big chance in Ultima.
Yeah, he's a good horse. But
big chance in the Ultima.
Once he's recovered. The next one to talk about is Good Risk At All. Absolutely bolted up. Beat Christopher Wood by 9 lengths over 2 miles 3. Has gone from 127, got £10 now up to 137.
Could have got more.
Yeah, absolutely sluiced up. 137 definitely gets you into whether it's a Coral Cup or a Martin Pipe.
You reckon, yeah?
Yeah, 137 definitely gets you in. Sam Thomas is doing very, very well. Nice ride by Charlie Deutsch.
Great day for him Saturday.
He won 2 bumpers and was second 3 times over 2 mile. Now his jumping, including behind John Bond, was terrible at the start.
Brilliant on Saturday.
Really good. First 3 or 4, nice, and then the last 4 or 5, he was much, much better. Yeah, he jumped very, very well. It was 1.5 seconds quicker than the novice hurdle won by stable companion Skytastic, so a good time. He seems like the Coral Cup seems to be the way to go. He's 8 to 1 favourite Ante Post with Bet 365 with the Coral Cup, but he's open to a lot of improvement.
It's going to be a hot Coral Cup this year.
Yeah.
Wow.
The horse that you tipped up last week, Fakir Doodery, well done.
Yeah.
You tipped it up at 7 to 2, didn't you?
7 to 2, yeah. Added to
charity
the Cancer Trials Ireland charity fund. And can I say also, we don't obviously have a couple of shows during the week, but Gavin tipped up Walking on Air, who didn't run. He got in touch with Bet365 immediately and said, I want to change it to good risk at all. 2 to 1. Lovely jubbly. So 2 winners last week for Upping the Stakes.
Yeah.
Factor to Darius?
Factor to Darius, SP at 9 to 4. You tipped it up at 7 to 2. Beat 2 for goal by length and 3/4, and the same back to Fanny and Destraval in third. The 3 were miles clear. St. Calvados pulled up for Paul Nichols. A bit like Henry, some were going okay and some were just still in and
St.
out.
Calvados burst, unfortunately. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Tough race in the ground.
I couldn't believe, did you watch, what time were you up at on Saturday morning?
Oh, sure, whatever, 8 o'clock.
Do you watch the opening show on ITV4?
No.
Okay, I do. I'm a big fan of the show. Ollie Bell was on and Matt Chapman, Luke Harvey.
Okay.
And the first thing Matt Chapman said was, Factor Darius, no, he's no chance. Don't fancy him at all. Because he didn't think he'd stay and he didn't think he'd like the ground. I was going...
Sure, he loved it in Clonmel.
They're the 2 things that I fancied him because of it. It's just interesting to see different opinions.
Okay.
Like, I just thought he'd absolutely love the ground and they were worried about the ground and stamina. And sure, he's a thorough stayer.
Similar to Does He Know, he had a very, very tough race. I wonder will he skip Cheltenham and go to Aintree and try and get a repeat in the 2.5 mile grade 1 that he won last year.
If he does run in the Ryanair, he is nailed on to finish in the first 3.
You reckon? He's 14 to 1 Ante Post for the Ryanair.
Each way, great bet if he is going.
The next one we're on to is Porticello and Haydock. It's actually got a rise in the ratings from 135 to 140, so it's getting there. Obviously won the grade 1 at Christmas at Chepstow. So it was 3 to 1 on thereabouts on Saturday for Gary Moore, and won very, very easy, won by 17 lengths. For people that want a fast run triumph, just to mention the Porticello, he only sat second or third for the first mile and then he took it up. So where the pace is going to come from in the triumph, we're not totally sure yet. He jumped very, very well. He's 12 to 1 now, Ante Post for the triumph, 10 to 1 NRNB. So what do you think, Em? Just a dot short?
Yeah, I think I can't see him win the triumph. I don't think he's another Goshen. I know you don't like Goshen, but I don't think he's another Goshen. I could see him running well, but being placed.
Josh Moore said afterwards he'd need plenty of ease to run in the triumph, so just keep that in mind. Hillcrest, the giant that is Hillcrest. He's a giant in many ways. He's a giant in size and he's a giant in ability. He's actually been put up £9, I think, to 149 now, so it's quite a high rating for a stayer.
It's a monster.
Yeah, he's a good horse. His technique for jumping hurdles, I'm sure he'll be a brilliant chaser, but he just kind of...
Yeah, he jumped
He lands
pretty
on all
poorly.
fours,
Yeah.
So he made 3 or 4 mistakes. Beat Crystal Glory by an easy 8 lengths at even money. This was 3 mile deep ground, so it looks like he's going to go to maybe the Bartlett.
How did he get by him though? Like, he just looks like he'll gallop forever. I said he'd gallop into the Cop to watch second half Liverpool and Watford, like, or non-Orange even.
I just wonder, like, he'll probably go to the Bartlett. They're also talking maybe going to Aintree, or I don't know if he'll go to both. Again, I thought he did a tough race. I know he won easy, but I just wonder would he recover that quickly for the next day.
Henry Daly said he had a very, very easy race.
Did you think so?
Yeah, I just think that's him. I think he loves that. I think he's a battle-hardened, tough, big beast of a horse.
Yeah, and
I'm worried now. Manila Crooner is one of my strongest fancy of the week. I'm very worried about Hillcrest.
Yeah, Hillcrest is really good. I'd say if he had another week or two, it'd do no harm. That's the only point I'm making.
Be some horse in the Brown Advisory next year.
Yeah, he's 9 to 2 for the Albert Bartlett non-runner no bet, and he's 11 to 2 Ante Post. So, Bob and Co was second to Cousin Pascal, beating a couple of lengths. That was over 2 miles 6. Obviously, a further trip will suit Bob and Co. He unseated Sean Bone in last year's Hunter's Chase at the third last, I think, and this year his own David Maxwell. Presumably, he has a couple of choices to ride in that race, but perhaps he'll go there.
Legend of a man.
Yeah, he said it was a nice run. The ground was bottomless, so he should be spot on for Cheltenham. He did beat Bill away a short head of Punchdown. Keep that in mind.
Great finish, yeah.
It looks like Cousin Pascal's going to Aintree and Porlock Bay, who won the Hunter's Chase at Cheltenham last year. He also might be going to Aintree.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
They were saying that maybe the 2 mile 5 over the fences might suit him better. So
He
seems a
won the
bit
race
funny.
last year.
He did. Bob and Co is 14 to 1 Ante Post in places for the Hunter's Chase. On to win Canton on Saturday, and we have to talk about Adagio. Beaten length and 3/4 by Goshen. He was getting £3 from Goshen, just to remember as well.
Now, you didn't fancy Goshen.
No, I just don't like the horse. There's too many excuses, and
he was on his. I tell you something. He got an A+ on Saturday for effort. Anyway,
he did. Yeah, no, he was more straightforward than he's ever been on Saturday, and he battled very well.
He did, yeah.
He's better going right-handed. Obviously, we all know that, and he certainly likes softer ground. So look, a lovely horse. When you love to own him, sure he's
he's a beaut, yeah. But he's fascinating. He fascinates me, that horse.
Who?
Goshen. He just fascinates me, yeah. He just, I know there's probably a ceiling of his ability, but when he's on a going day, he's very good.
Yeah. So Goshen got into the race, I think, at a rating 156. Adagio was 152. Got a little bit too far behind before the bend. Anyway, caught up. Looked a winner between the second last and the last. He definitely went a neck up.
1.03 in running.
Did he? Mm-hmm. But to become a real champion hurdle candidate, we said earlier, you have to get it well above 160 if you're going to challenge. You need to get 165, 170. Adagio needed to have won the other day, I think. Even though he'll definitely improve for the run. It was his first run in 3 months. But if you're going to be top class, I think you need to beat Goshen. So I think at best, Adagio, who's now 20-1 in places for the champion hurdle, I think third place might be as good as he gets.
Okay.
Also, Goran Park and Salah, we spoke about to you, Boo, so I don't think we need to talk about that again.
Yep.
But just to keep in mind that Quilixios was poor again, so that won't make Henry too happy. The tide turns, we'll come back to him in a couple of minutes because I want to talk to you about ratings. Okay. So he finished fourth, he had to have his third run.
What a run.
Yeah, it was a good run. And he wasn't knocked about, shall we say, down the outside. Finished fourth, so against the older horses, it was a good run. Mellon on the same card, beat Size and Potsy by 6 lengths. A 2 to 5 in a 4-runner race. He jumped quite well, actually. This is over 2.5. Very good placing by Willie. It's his first win since December 2019. And believe it or not, it's only his 4th win from 25 starts. Yeah. So 16%.
Fifth, I think he won on the flat. Fifth, I think. Yeah, he won in France, yeah.
Over jumps, it's his 4th win from 25 starts. He's 14-1 Ante Post for the Ryanair, 40-1 for the Gold Cup. Wouldn't be for me now. Now, he's ran very well.
He'll run well in the Ryanair.
Yeah.
He'll run well.
Maybe he's a place chance, but...
Yeah, absolutely.
Newbury on Sunday, just one more horse, and then we'll talk about a few ratings. Amarillo Sky beat Shake 'em Up Harry by 10 lengths. He won off 135, but we don't have the new rating out yet. That'll be later on in the week or whatever. But he won very, very well. Trained by Colin Tizard. The ground was soft, heavy in places. Jumped brilliantly, actually. Was second to Brave Shaska back in Ascot in December. And also,
I see how you got to him now.
No... But I'm just saying to you, Time White and Brave Shaska, their form was given a boost by him winning. And actually, he'd have a chance at the Grand Annual himself.
Yeah, he could run well.
He's 10-1 NRMB and 12-1 Ante Post.
Of course, you're on Brave Shaska.
Yeah, and you're on Time White.
Yep.
So go back to a few ratings. So yesterday, I had a bit more time because that's quite a short week was. And
was it? Started 20 minutes ago.
And so I went into the IHRB National Hunt ratings page just to see. And I actually found...
How'd you get in there?
And I found a few ratings. So the tide turns 135.
Well handicapped, yes or no?
Look, it's the Boodles. The Boodles. Last year we did an 80-1 winner, so I wouldn't get too excited.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, it's grand. Britska has a rating of 127. Brazil has a new rating of 133, but they reckon maybe he won't go. White Pepper's 124. Pied Piper 144. And Phil Dore 141. I just wonder, is there a chance that Phil Dore might go to the Boodles if the British handicapper doesn't give him much more than that? If he gave him 142 or 143, maybe Gordon might be tempted. I hope not, but I just wonder what would happen.
If he did go and just say got in off 143,
he'd
be a very short price favourite, wouldn't he?
I think he'd be, he like Gaelic Warrior who...
Sure, this Gaelic Warrior, this is mad. Sure, this horse is about 2 stone well in, is he?
I don't know, he's got a rating of 129, but the one thing is, like, he's ran 3 times, I think, in France. They're different hurdles, different pace of the race. To come over here and win, say, a 20-runner handicap, geez, it'd be a fair performance.
Yeah, if he's near Vauban and he's running off 129, and I'd say he'd be much higher if he had been entered in Ireland. I don't know, it's mental.
Yeah, well, if Phil Dore was 143, he'd be getting a stone off him. So
like 129, what happened there?
Gaelic Warrior, we said 129. And then I happened to see a horse who I'm going to tip up later at 50-1. So
it's in the Boodles?
It's in the Boodles, yeah. And he's got a rating of 123. Now, the interesting thing was, as I was just looking through the ratings, I seen the trainer, and it was a different trainer. So then I just happened to see it. And I just thought, okay, change the trainer, it's worth looking at. So I looked at it. So I'll talk about him later on. Okay, and also, a couple of older horses that I just happened to see have got ratings. Galler de Menil, if you're thinking of backing him for a handicap, he's 148. CL de Neige, 148. Statler, just for reference, is 153. And Dysart Dynamo got a rating of 150. So.
Okay.
Just interesting to see a lot of ratings there for the 4-year-olds in particular.
So your 50-1 shot is in the Boodles?
Yep.
I can't wait. Okay, we'll get to that later in the show. But that was the week that was. So Gavin, you know what I got to do now?
What's that?
I got to tell Upping the Ante viewers about the Members Club.
Well, suggest, don't tell them.
Well, no, don't tell them. It's up to you. The decision is in their hands,
Strongly
Gavin.
suggest.
Okay, yeah. I strongly suggest you become a racing club member because it's 15 quid for your first 3 months, and that will take you to Cheltenham. It will take you to Aintree. It will take you to Ferriers, Punchestown. You'll even get the guineas out of it. So if you become a member of the Members Club, that's a lot of members, isn't it?
It is.
A lot of members in the one sentence. So if you become a member of the Members Club, the Racing Post Members Club, you can get all the access to those big meetings. You can get the digital newspaper the night before. You can get tipping from the likes of Tom Siegel, Paul Keeley, David Jennings even sometimes in Ireland. And it is certainly worth their while, isn't it, Gavin?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. If you want to make a few quid in the next couple of months, yeah.
Do you think they're sick of us talking about the Members Club?
Probably, yeah.
They're probably all members by now.
Probably.
If you're not, become a member. So each week here on Upping the Ante, we preview one of the graded races at the 2022 Cheltenham Festival. And this week, it's the big one, folks. It is the 2022 Boodles Cheltenham Gold Cup. And at the moment, with Bet365, your 3-1 favourite is A Plus Tard, last year's runner-up. It is 4-1 about Galvin, your Savills Chase winner. It's 11-2 about the defending champion, Manila Indo. The big British Raider Protectorate, tipped up by Pricewise in the Racing Post, is 8-1. It's 10-1, the two-time winner, Album Photo. And it's 14-1 bar, which includes the King George winner, Tornado Flyer. It's the big one, Gavin.
Yeah, for me, the biggest race of the year ahead of the International or any of them. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, I love
the
it. Love
ultimate. It. So, first question I'm going to ask you is, if all the horses were the same price, who would you back?
And just to finish on the Gold Cup, the thing we have to remember, it's a savage stamina test.
Yeah.
If they're all the same price.
If every horse was the same price, if they're all 5-1, who would you back?
I'd back Galvin.
Would you?
I would,
I'd
yeah.
back A Plus Tard. Okay.
Do you want to start with A Plus Tard?
Yeah, fire away.
So second last year, one thing is that his jumping seems better this year.
Much better.
Yeah. He got trapped wide, I suppose, maybe in the Savills, you could argue, at Christmas. Him being trained by Henry along with Manila Indo, is that a bit of a worry for you? To me, it probably, it should be reflecting the price that his horses aren't flying. Just got chinned by Galvin at Christmas. When you compare Gallop and Deschamps' race that day for the last circuit, they went quite slow early on in that Savills Chase, but in the last mile they got a good bit quicker. So I think that should have suited A Plus Tard. Rachel did what Rachel does at the bend. She blocked in Davy Russell and Galvin. It was just a shock to see that Galvin had more gears in the last furlong than A Plus Tard for a horse that had beaten Chacun Pour Soi.
Was it gears rather than stamina, yeah?
Maybe, yeah. But just if they had gone slow, which they had, you'd imagine that A Plus Tard, like was it Mellon in third? You'd imagine A Plus Tard should have gone further away from Mellon, we'll say.
Yeah.
Because even the previous Christmas when A Plus Tard did the same thing and just got up on the line, Mellon was just there again. So I think that was roughly the same performance by A Plus Tard. That's why one of the reasons I like Galvin.
Okay.
Another couple of things about Galvin is that he's obviously won the National on Chase, so the stamina is no problem.
Well done.
And he's won 7 out of his last 8 races. Here's one for you. He's ran 4 times at Cheltenham.
Right.
But he hasn't run in this course.
Really?
Yeah.
Even the race in October is on the old course?
They're all on the old course, like the Ballymore, that novice chase, the novice handicap, and last year's National on Chase.
Interesting.
But I think that of the 2 courses, the new course will definitely suit him much more.
With you, yeah.
Because the old course, you come down the hill, you turn in, bang, bang, and there's the line. Whereas the new course, it's more about that word again, stamina.
Stamina, yeah.
And so I think the new course will definitely suit him a lot better, the trip. And probably not so much now because he's getting older. He's an 8-year-old. But I think that his best performance have been on decent ground. So what they call good to soft, or what we might call yielding ground. I like the fact that he's 8. A Plus Tard is 8. Manila Indo is 9. Much better the last day. Staying on to be second behind Conflated, having blown out, say, in Kempton. So Manila Indo, like we spoke about him earlier, that he had been beaten by Allaho in the novice hurdle at Clonmel, and then he bolts up in the Albert Bartlett. So that shows even within a month, he's much better at Cheltenham. So
okay. Now, where are we with Protectorate? Because he's the one in the betting that I cannot get my head around why he's not a double figure price. Fair enough, Tom Siegel, who's having a terrific year, has tipped him up in his Ante Post column for the Gold Cup. But Protectorate should be double figure price, Gavin.
Yeah, like he's close to it. I think he's 8-1 there. I suppose when somebody like Tom tips it up, the price is going to go as at 14s and 12s into 10s and 8s and stuff.
What do you think?
He'd have to have a chance. I won't back him. He's not proven at the top table yet. He was very, very good at Aintree, stayed forever, which people like me had doubts about. But to me, he still is a good.
Now I know he's beaten in a Paddy Power Gold Cup. We can say Long Run was beaten in a Paddy Power Gold Cup, so you can't really kind of crucify him for that. But I just don't know if he's good enough.
Like, he was in the wrong position that day and stayed on incredibly
he did.
well. And his run at Aintree was very, very good.
Midnight Shadow, the ill-fated, unfortunately. Midnight Shadow made a mistake at the last as well, though. So the margin of victory.
I just think he's a lot to prove. At least with Galvin and those types, they're already proven at the top table.
Absolutely right. Bigger prices. Who are we giving a chance to?
I'd be against Salboom Photo because he's 10.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, I forgot to say the Protectorate, one advantage he has that he's only 7. I love 7 and 8-year-olds in the Gold Cup.
You do?
Tornado Flyer, who's 9, must have a squeak. Like, people might think that the King George was a fluke, but Willie said that they've done things differently with him. Normally he started quite well in the season, then just progressively got worse. And he's done things differently at home with him, so I wouldn't just discount him.
Here's the theory, though. Was the King George just a desperate race? Like, you look at it now and you look back and you say, Tornado Flyer won it, okay? Asterion Phalange would have been second. St. Calvados has run bad since. Clan des Obo has run bad since. Chantry House ran a shocker and was pulled up. Maybe it just wasn't actually a good race.
Yeah, they had gone a very, very fast gallop. That's why Chantry House was pulled up and he's won since. And obviously Manella Indo pulled up and he's run well since. So, look, to be able to have stayed with them, very Canny Danny again with a nice ride.
Danny, yeah.
He waited and produced him at the right time. I just wouldn't give up on him totally.
Okay.
His jumping was good that day. I think he's 14-1. And then obviously Conflated.
Looks like he's going for the Ryanair.
Does it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then he won't
Michael
win the Gold
O'Leary, I think, told Dave Yates in the Mirror that he looks like he's going for the Ryanair.
Cup. Okay. And you're giving Royal Pagaille a squeak and you're hoping for lots of rain.
Yeah, I think he's a one-horse overpriced. I know he's into 20-1 now. I put him up at 33. But loads of rain. It's going to be softer, I think, than it was at Newbury, certainly in the Dem and Chase. I could see him run a big race.
Look,
I think he's getting better.
Yeah, it's a very, very open Gold Cup, which is nice. We don't have an even money favourite, which is good. Best race of the week, and for me, I think Galvin at 4.
So your best bet in the race and the best value in the race. So best bet in the race,
Galvin,
and best value in the race,
Galvin.
Okay. And my best bet in the race, I think the most likely winner is Absolute Tower. I think he's the right favourite, and I think it'd be very hard to beat. Best value, definitely Royal Pagaille. And that was your 2022 Boodles Cheltenham Gold Cup preview. So yes, what you want to know now is what's happening this week, and the feature card this weekend is at Kempton on Saturday. We've got a load of graded races. Former Racing Post Chase Day.
Yes.
Coral Trophy now. Before then, we should mention tomorrow at Punchestown, we've got a Mare's Hurdle. That's often a clue towards Cheltenham. Yeah. And my beloved Burning Victory runs for Paul Townend and Willie Wallace.
Yeah, it's an interesting race, so you'll be cheering her on.
Yeah, Galwa's in there. It's an interesting race. Queensbrook is in there.
Yeah.
So keep an eye on that. It's the first race at 1 o'clock at Punchestown on Wednesday. Keep an eye out because there's plenty of Cheltenham clues.
Yeah.
Thursday, we've got the Michael Purcell at Thurles, which you made a good point to me just before we came on air.
That it's getting a bit close.
Too close.
Yeah, it's just some of them races are getting a little bit too close, particularly if the ground is deep. Trainers don't want to bottom out the horse, which is fair enough.
Pretty poor renewal this year.
I suppose it's also a compliment to trainers nowadays that they're so brilliant. They can get a horse ready a couple of months away.
Absolutely.
They don't need runs. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is Ireland kind of midweek. Moving on to Saturday, the Adonis Hurdle, Juvenile Hurdle. We're going to see the unbeaten hurdler Knight Salute here.
Yeah, I think he'd probably take a lot of beating. I think he's roughly 9-4 at the minute. He beat Porticello and one of the rivals on Saturday, Impulsive One, in Doncaster. I think that the flat track at Kempton will definitely suit. Can be a bit keen, although it has won at Cheltenham. Can be a bit keen. Travels really strongly. Impulsive One have bolted up since at Musselburgh, so the form is decent.
Yeah, he's won at the track already, I think. Knight Salute,
So, I think he'll take a lot of beating. Pleasant Man is having his first run over hurdles.
Interesting recruit, isn't he?
Yeah, he's rated 95 on the flat and has a couple of form ties with the Pied Piper and the flat and stuff. So, but I'd go for Knight Salute.
Okay, Knight Salute. I think Pleasant Man will be interesting, but Knight Salute, worthy favourite. We've got the Dove Cut. Shall we have one more, trying to give another boost to some of the Supreme contenders? He looks a good horse.
Yeah, he does. The one thing I'll say is that the Tolworth definitely needs a form boost because Jetoile was last in the Betfair Hurdle and Mr. Glass ran in an average handicap hurdle the other day in Wincanton.
Yes.
Right?
Now, go on. You say what you have to say first.
Right. It was well beaten. The horse that was second in it was 13, I think. So
yeah, JPEG. But the only thing I'll say about Mr. Glass is I love Mr. Glass, right? He was run off a mark of 127, right? He's a stayer for the future who wants 3 miles. He travelled beautifully through the race. He jumped brilliantly and he turned in and it was like as if he had the legs taken from under him. He walked over the line.
Yeah.
That is not the real Mr. Glass. So don't be, so when the Nichols team come back into form, For whatever reason, they're just not. Some of them are not running their races. When they do come back into form, Mr. Glass is going to have about 2 stone in hand because he's a good horse.
Okay. Shall we have one more? We'll definitely prefer the better ground, I presume, than it was in the Tolworth. So maybe it'll win again. But this race,
which Cheltenham contender, big Cheltenham contender, did Shall We Have One More beat in an Ascot bumper? Or sorry, was it an Ascot bumper? No, a Kempton bumper.
Tell me. Oh, was it John? No, it was Walking on Air.
Very good, Gavin.
Yeah.
Very good. Well done.
What do you like in this race?
Shall We Have One More? I think it's a very good horse. Yeah, I think it'd be very hard to beat. I do think the Stan Skelton horse, which is hard to pronounce, I thought he looked good last time. He's only up to a mark of 126, but I thought he had a big chance. I don't know whether it'll be Shall We Have One More, but it'll be interesting. Okay. And moving on to the Pendle Novices Chase. And you told me before there'll be no winner of this race, Gavin.
No, there'll be no winner of this race. This will just be null and void.
You don't like any of them?
No. Pictorius 2-1, but to me he ran terribly the last day. Maybe, like, if he didn't run the last day, he'd be 4-5 in this, but I just... hard to forgive him running that badly, and the stable continue not to be fully informed. So,
well, Gavin, as you know, forgiveness is my worst trait. I think Pictorius is different class to these.
Okay.
Even if he just improves a tiny bit on his terrible run the last day, might be good enough.
Would you back him at 2-1?
I nearly would, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think he'll win. I think Manila Drama is favourite at the moment. He's a better horse than Manila Drama.
Nearly would means usually that you wouldn't.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. A bit of a contradiction there. And the big one, the big 3:37, I think it is, at Kempton on Saturday. I think it's called the Coral Trophy now.
Just go back to Nearly Wood there. Mick O'Dowd from Screen, the Meath, former Meath football manager. Rule Supreme was running in Paris one time, and I said to Mick, we were at a game, I said, will you come to watch Rule Supreme in 2 weeks? And he said, I nearly would. So I said, you're not going, no.
Nearly would equals wouldn't.
Okay. Yeah. So the Coral Trophy, yeah.
I like one in this.
I like one in this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, mine's young and progressive. Is
it your charity bet?
It is?
Don't give it away then.
Okay.
Because mine is my charity bet as well.
And it's 5-1, there you go.
So you know what they're going to have to do? They're going to have to stay tuned for Upping the Stakes. Anything else you want to mention this week?
Yeah, just Ferry House on Saturday. There's the Grade 3 Juvenile Hurdle. Won a couple of years ago by Burning Victory, and we all know they went on to win the Triumph.
And the 2022 Mayor's Hurdle, yep.
You've got the Bobby Joe. And then in Nason Sun, as we said earlier, there's a Grade 3 chase over 2 miles. There's a Grade 2 novice hurdle over 2 miles. The winner's bumper, and we'll be there. So it should be a good day out.
We'll be there. The 2 selling hurdlers will be there in the corner of the marquee, answering questions. That's what's happening this week, Gavin. It's not a bad week.
No, it's okay.
It's not a bad week. Yeah, we're getting there. We're closing down to Cheltenham, but that is what's happening this week. So we've reached Upping the Stakes time here on Upping the Ante, where Bet365 have kindly given myself and Gavin 50 quid every week to try and raise funds for Cancer Trials Ireland. And last week it was a Beano. 50 quid on Fakir Dara's at 7-2 returned a tasty 225 quid. And Gavin, it was good improvisation by you.
Yeah, well, just when you've got... Look, on a Tuesday, you can't be sure what's going to run the weekend. It's a long way away. So, thankfully, I got to switch. And
you were walking on air. You switched to Good Risk at All. So, you were indeed walking on air.
So, 3 in a row, but even though 2 to 13 shouldn't count.
3 in a row for Gavin Lynch. So, he's going for 4 in a row. And this week, your selection is
Ansam.
Ansam, okay.
In the Coral Trophy, Kempton on Saturday. A 7-year-old... has only had 5 runs, I think, over fences. It had a couple of runs over hurdles, and then it went and beat Phoenix Way by 4 1/4 lengths in Ascot in December. First time over 3 miles, except for when it fell once in Exeter, but it's very unexposed. It won very, very easily that day. Phoenix Way came out and since and beat Fanny and Destraval over 2 mile 5 in Ascot. So both horses have gone up £6. So they're off the same weights as they were the last day, equivalent to each other. So I just don't know how Phoenix Way is going to turn that around. I just like the profile. I think this horse is going to go on to better things. It went, I think, from 134 to 140. So I think 5-1 and Sam is good value. Okay,
5-1, 50 quid in the nose?
Yep.
50 quid on the nose and Sam for Gavin Lynch in the 3:37 at Kempton on Saturday. And I'm taking you on, Gavin, with an 8-1 shot. He's drawn me back in. He's drawn me back in. Me old buddy, the big breakaway.
Here.
I know. He's like your first love in life. And you know, you meet them on a night out and you just say, just one more. So, look, with the big breakaway, it's just a handicap thing. He's not a particularly good jumper. And that's the worrying thing, obviously, around Kempton. But he was second in the Coto Star Novices Chase to Chamblou, where I think if he'd have jumped any of those 3 fence up the straight, he nearly would have won it. I just go back to Newton Abbott earlier on the season. He tried to give £8 to Brave Man's Game.
Okay.
He was about 2.5 lengths to 3 lengths behind at the last when he fell. He would have been beaten convincingly, probably 4 or 5 lengths he would have been beaten. But still, trying to give Braveman's Game £8 and to be within 3 lengths of him at the last, a short run now, but that's a big run. Give him plenty of time to get over that, over the terrible run in Sandown. He embarrassed everybody that day. He was very, very disappointing. But they gave him time to get over that Sandown performance behind Chantry House.
You're still second.
He was second, yeah, he was second, yeah. Fresh Air was third. And he came back and ran over hurdles in Newbury last time. And there was more, like he hit the line hard, he got outpaced and he hit the line hard. I'd say he blew up and got a second wind. I think he's going to come on for that. He's rated 147. In my head, he's definitely 155 chaser. So
yeah, well, that thing of running a horse back over hurdles can instill a bit of life into them.
So I'm going 50 quid win the big breakaway against Gavin's and Sam in the Coral Trophy, the 337 at Kempton on Saturday. So hopefully one of them will land anyway.
Please God.
We'll either get 300 quid or 450 quid. I don't mind which one, Gavin, but I would prefer if it was me. So there you go. That is this week's Upping the Stakes selections. Now, Upping the Ante viewers, the time has come for our latest Ante Post picks for the 2022 Cheltenham Festival. And Gavin, I think you've 2 this week.
2, yeah.
And
I was only going to have 1, but then yesterday when I started looking through ratings, I just stumbled across something.
Okay. I could only find 1, so...
And for anybody who's skipped to here, welcome to Upping the Ante.
Yeah, well done. A nice introduction there. So you've got to start off. We've teased them already, Gavin. We've teased them. We're reeling them in, okay? 50 to 1.
50 to 1,
Boodles, take it away.
So this horse is 25 to 1 NRMB, 50 to 1 best price with Bet365. There's somebody else 50s, most of them are 33 to 1. So I just stumbled across this yesterday. So this horse had 2 runs in the flat. Will I give you the name of the horse?
No.
Okay.
Keep them guessing.
2 runs in the flat, had 5 runs over hurdles, was second to 6 feet apart, third to Ben Siegel, was fourth to Phil Dorn, the grade 3 at Fairyhouse, finished fourth to Icar Lane at Christmas at Leopardstown. Just behind him was the very much eye-catching Brazil, and also Man at Work was 7th. He went on to win a maiden hurdle in Naas. But the thing that I just happened to see yesterday is the change of trainer. Okay. And I just think horses can improve.
Will I do a drum roll? What's a drum roll actually? No, I don't know what
anyway.
It is.
Dr. Brown Bear is the name of the horse.
Dr. Brown Bear, 50 to 1 for Gavin Lynch in the Boodles Juvenile Hurdle.
So he was trained by Brendan Duke up to this. Brendan's a very good trainer, has had lots of good winners. A dad of Dukey that we know, lovely fella. But now is down to be trained on the IHRB website, trained by Martin Brazel. Hasn't ran since Christmas, so it should be enough time for a new trainer to maybe improve the horse. Change of scenery can help. Martin Brazel's horse has been very good form this season. He had a lovely gamble on New Year's Eve on an epic song, won really, really well. Longhouse Poet was another gamble in the Thyestes. Mm-hmm. And Choice of Words was second the other day to Journey With Me. So
excellent trainer, yeah. Yeah,
excellent trainers, won Grand Nationals and all those sort of things. So definitely the man for the job. This horse is an official rating of 123. Plus you're going to get a little bit of VAT when you go over the Irish seat. So he might go to 126, 127. Last year 123 got in, but that was a funny year. The average lowest horse to get into the Boodles for the last 10 years is 126. So I think he'll get in. I think at 50 to 1, his form is quite decent. I think he's just been missed in the market. And the fact that he's changed trainer, I think just might give him an edge.
Is this the biggest price either of us have ever tipped up and up in the ante?
I'd say so.
50 to 1.
Fair but I can see him, like his form is quite decent. And hopefully he gets entered. By the way, the entries I think are taking place today.
Yes.
So you see for every race tomorrow, the next day. So just to keep an eye on.
So tell me this, Gavin. What price, if everything goes to plan, he gets a couple of pound VAT, he gets in off 126, just say. Yeah. What price do you see him going off?
I'd imagine he'll go off 12 to 1 or something. 12 or 14 to 1. But his form is okay. 50
to 1, Dr. Brown Bear for Gavin Lynch in the Boodles. Selection 1. Selection 2 is?
The second one is in the Fox Hunters. This year the Fox
mine
Hunters.
Is in the Fox Hunters.
Is it? This year the Fox Hunters just doesn't look a crash hot race.
No.
And I just can't tip up Bill away. I just can't bring myself to do it. He's let me down too often, so I can't. But for example, Bob and Cole got beat the other day, even though he'd have a bit of a squeak. Porlock Bay, they're saying Mike can go to this race, will go to Aintree. And cousin Pascal, who beat who beat Bob and Cole the other day, he mightn't go. So Winged Leader is an 8-year-old, so he's got the perfect age profile for this kind of race. He's 5 to 1 NRMB, but he's 13 to 2 with Bet365, standout price, Ante Post, if you go into the Ante Post section on their website. He's won 9 point-to-points, believe it or not, and he's also won 400 chases on the racecourse. He's won his last 5 in a row. He won last April, May and June. He won a point-to-point in November, and then he goes and beats the famous Billaway by 12 lengths on the 23rd of January. Now, obviously, as we all know, Billaway improves every year for a run, so I'm not taking that literally, because twice previously, Billaway has beaten Winged Leader. But I just prefer Winged Leader. He's very reliable. He goes on any type of ground. His best form was on good to soft, which it usually is on the Friday. So if the ground is better, I think it'll suit him. I'm just hoping Billaway makes 1 or 2 mistakes as usual. It'd be great for David Christie and Barry O'Neill if they did win it. They've also got another horse called Vaucelet. So I presume they hold this horse in higher regard. And if so, I think he's got a great chance.
Well, Gavin, I have news for you. Okay. I spoke to David Christie on Sunday.
Okay.
I was on a news shift and I rang around a couple of trainers and I spoke to David Christie. Gentleman, absolute gentleman. And we spoke at length about both horses. He said, I can't do it for Man Accent. I can't do it. But he said that Wing Leader was in pole position. He said all systems go. He said he's a far more mature horse now, easier to ride. He said it's all systems go for Cheltenham. Has been delighted with him. He knows he can get him there where he wants him from a break. So he's not going to run between now and Cheltenham. And I have to say, it was a ringing endorsement to his chances.
Yeah, and he said he's in the Racing Post. He said he's going to Cheltenham. So he reckons Wing Leader.
That was the article I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he reckons Wing Leader.
That's not a bad accent. Yeah.
That'll do. So I'll go for him at 13.
And he said it's his Gold Cup. He said he trains hunter chasers, and this is his Gold Cup.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So Wing Leader 13-2 for Gavin in the St James's Place Hunters Chase. And my selection this week is also in the St James's Place Hunters Chase, and it's a strange one, Gavin. It's 20-1.
Right.
Okay, and it is an 8-year-old mare called Highway Jewel. Now, there's people going to be watching this going, Highway what? But Highway Jewel, an 8-year-old mare, is my selection. So, like you, Gavin, Billaway is favourite. Bob and Co was beaten at the weekend. You're looking through and you're trying to find an edge in some of the markets. And I said there must be value somewhere in this race. And when you look back through the results, you kind of say to yourself, it's not out of the realms of possibility that a bigger price English trained horse can win this. And I landed upon the Bradley Gibbs owned and trained Highway Jewel. I think he was in the Bee Gees. Was he Bradley Gibbs?
Gibbs, yeah.
Yeah, but Highway Jewel, she's only ran twice on the rules. Okay, she won at Cheltenham at the April meeting at Cheltenham, where she was 2-7. She made the most dreadful error 6 out. She landed on top of the fence. Her jumping is usually brilliant. She does jump to her right, but she's very, very good. She landed on top of the fence, and I said, how can she win from here? And she did, and she went away to win by about 5.5 lengths at the line. Now she was running against poor standard of opposition. But she came out first time this season. We saw her winning at Chipley Park.
Oh, yeah.
Maydall, Chipley,
nice
Chipley Park. But she won her point-to-point, I think, on the 23rd of January, which told me that potentially this could be the aim. And after the race, Bradley Gibbs, I was going to say he's keeping the dream alive, but he was staying alive. He was saying that the dream is on for Highway Jewel, and it looks like Cheltenham is on the agenda. Now, she's not overly big, okay, but she attacks her fences. She does nudge a bit to her right. When she ran at Warwick last year, she flew home to finish second. She finished on front of what's the name of the horse? What's the name? I can't think of the name of the horse. A McNeil horse finished third. A good hurler, the World's End. The World's End was third. She flew home to finish second, and I'd say she's getting better. Now, she does like to make the run and she does nudge a bit to her right, but at 20-1, she's an 8-year-old mare, and I think she still could be improving. So, Bradley Gibbs, if you're watching, fingers crossed, we'll say a little prayer and hope
Tell
you
me
get...
this, will you make a promise that, with the Bee Gees reference, that if the horse wins, you have to sing on Twitter, you win again?
I would happily sing you in again. Absolutely. I'd sing anything if she wins at 20-1. So there you go. Highway Jewel is my latest selection for the 2022 Cheltenham Festival at 20-1 with Bet365. So before we let you go, we got in contact with the traders at Bet365, Gavin, and for a bit of crack and for a bit of banter, we got them to price up DJ versus Gavin for Upping the Ante. Okay, so it's basically 1 point win at the prices selected for our selections. So the winner is the one who has the most points at the end. So for example, if Burning Victory wins at 33-1, I get 33 points.
Yep.
If Galloping the Champs wins at 7-1, Gavin gets 7 points. Okay, so they priced it up. And they've come up with these prices: 2-7.
2-7.
Gavin Lynch to make it. I think this is our 5th series. You won the first 3, and I won last year. So Gavin is 2-7 to win again this year, and I'm 11-4. What do you make of that, Gavlar?
Well, sure, I'd say last year it would have been around that, and sure, you won, so you never know.
I'd say you would have been 1-66 going in last year. Yeah.
But you should have told us this a month ago, and I could have put up Desert Orchid and Carvin's Hill and just backed you. But look, sure, it's all you need. You've got some big price ones in there, so if you get a big price one, sure, you're laughing.
You're being too kind.
Hopefully the two of us make a profit on the selections. That's what it's about.
So, folks, that's it for episode 16 of Upping the Ante. Can you believe we've 16 done, Gavin?
Yeah.
16 done. What's the plans for this week?
Nothing major. I'm actually playing a thing called paddle tennis tonight. Paddle tennis, yeah. I played it last week. Paddle tennis.
What the hell is paddle tennis?
Well, Lawrence just said it's like OAP's tennis. But,
what is it?
It's indoor. It's a smaller court, and it's a cross between racquetball and tennis, where the walls are kind of in play and stuff like that.
What do you mean they're kind of in play?
Well, it has to bounce first, and then if it hits the wall, you can hit it after it hits the wall.
Is there a net?
There's a net, yeah. And the rackets are like large table tennis rackets. Anyway, it's a good game.
What size is the ball? The tennis ball?
Tennis ball, yeah.
So a normal tennis ball?
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, it is, yeah, it is.
Oh my God.
Paddle
so you're
tennis,
playing paddle ball?
Paddle
or
tennis.
paddle tennis. Will you take a picture and send it on to me?
Tonight at 7:30, yeah.
Paddle tennis. All right, go on. What's the plans for the rest of the week? When you're finished playing paddle ball,
I have to go through...
Paddle tennis, sorry.
It's very popular in Europe anyway. But anyway...
I haven't even heard of it.
Today, all the remaining entries for every race, including the 9 handicaps, are out. They won't be maybe out this afternoon, but they should be out, say, tomorrow. So, okay. And all the official handicap ratings, including all the Irish ratings, come out on the 1st of March, which is next Tuesday. So it'll be all eyes on the screen that day. Okay. Calm down, will you?
Okay, and when you're finished your paddleball / tennis, you've got best luck to your Cheltenham preview on Friday night.
Yeah, Barberstown Castle.
Your first one, yeah, best luck on that. And Sunday will be nice.
Yeah, so... It's a busy week between everything.
Yeah, well, hopefully Gavin doesn't get injured playing OAP tennis or paddle tennis, as it's called, because we want you here next week, Gavin, because it's getting serious now. We'll be back here next week. It's only a fortnight to go until the Cheltenham Festival. But until then, if you're having a bet this weekend, don't forget to gamble responsibly. Only bet what you can afford to lose. I've been David Jennings. He's been Gavin Lynch. This has been Upping the Ante in association with Bet365. Thanks for watching.